This video is about the stereotypes that people have about and against people who have a relationship with squirrels, and also some of the stereotypes and prejudices they have against the squirrels themselves, but mostly the people. Now, let's start out with number one. I think people think that people who have relationships with squirrels are deluded. They think it's not a relationship. They think it's something less than a relationship because you can only have a relationship with a cat or a dog. I admit I used to be guilty of this, and I also was disappointed by it. I have to say, growing up, I'm like, are these our only choices in life, or cats and dogs? No, they're not the only choices, but they're the only choices that the, by and large, unimaginative human population have come to accept as animals that humans can have relationships with. So people, number one, people think you're like semi-delusional. Oh, she thinks she has a relationship with squirrels. Number two, so I think they assume she must have no friends, or he. No friends, must be no friends. Well, that is definitely a misconception on my part, because if I had to list all the friends I have, I don't mean to brag. There's no way I could do it, okay? From someone who toured the United States, half the United States, for I don't know how many years, with how many, I don't know how many people. Let's just say I cannot list all my friends, and they might not all like me, but they know me, and I might not like all them. Well, okay, I kind of do. I like everybody. I like them, and I have YouTube friends, and I have from work, and I have from school, which, okay, here's another one that they think you're old. Well, if I'm so old, why did I just graduate from school? I graduated during the pandemic. Oh, and they think you're about to retire. I'm going to retire when I just graduated from school? No. Maybe they think the YouTube channel is a lot more lucrative than it is. And heck, I wish it were. But even if it were that lucrative, I still wouldn't retire, because I got some energy in me. In case people can't tell, I'm not like a bored old lady sitting in a park. Let's see. We have, okay, so I'm supposed to be friendless, bored. I have so much of my life going on. Just like everybody. I mean, who doesn't, right? But I mean, school, touring, work, full-time job, full-time school, which I did graduate from school, touring, and then, everything else you got in life going on. It's not like I was sitting around going, what the hell am I going to do to fill my time? I got nothing. I got no time to sleep. There's not enough time in the day. Even if you count all 24 hours, there is not enough time in the day. I was never looking for things to fill my long, lonely life. Okay, so people think lonely, no friends, bored, nothing going on. I have a lot of energy, and I think maybe the squirrels responded to my energy. In fact, why wouldn't they? Why would squirrels gravitate to somebody who's a living lump? They're not stupid. They are energetic little beings, and if they're gonna look for a human, a beacon in the human void, they're going to look for somebody who's got something to them. You look at the people on this channel that comment, big personalities. They are big hearts, big personalities, a lot of energy, a lot of positive energy. And I think squirrels, that's what I'd look for if I was a squirrel. I wouldn't go up to some big, mean son of a, like, somebody with nothing but lack of energy and full of hate. No, they're not going to go after that. Which leads into another one, which is that there's the stereotype that humans are just chasing around after squirrels. Come be my friend, come be my friend. Seriously, who would do that? Like, this is not the way it happens. I think you could ask every squirrel person, every person with a relationship with a squirrel, and say, hey, Did you run around chasing after squirrels, begging them to be your friend? I don't think anybody has that story. So, yeah, all these stereotypes, they just point back to, I think, the person who has that idea. Like, if they are limited in their thinking, they're going to be limited in what they can understand and in how they view something, because they're going to pull it into their lens. If it's outside of their lens, they only see what they can see. And so then you end up getting pigeonholed into that little lens. Well, that must be all you are. That must be all it is, because that's all they can understand. No. Don't be sucked in by that. You know what's real. All right. I'm not old. I'm not retired. I have no plans to retire until I am old. And that's a long way away. And I think I Googled, and the average age for retirement is, 72 or something. And I'm like, how freaking old do I look? But all right, so I'll let you guys go on that. I'm going to assume nobody here has judged me and decided I'm retired because I hang out with squirrels. Because it's not all I do, which is another stereotype we're going to get to. All right. No, I'll jump right into that one. Okay, so I think people think that if you hang out with squirrels, that's all you do. Or maybe if you have a YouTube channel that includes some footage on that's all you do. But if you look, each YouTube video is like 5, maybe 15 minutes long. That's 5 or 15 minutes out of a day that someone does something. That's how long most people spend on their hair. Well, maybe that's a little extensive for spending time on your hair, but I spent that long there was at least 10 minutes going into this hairstyle here. So yeah, but people don't call me a hair person, they call me a squirrel person. So don't go figure. Something people seek out. All right, so I think that's a stereotype, that people go after it. Like, oh God, what am I going to do in life? I know, I'm going to go hang out with some animals that, by all measure, I've heard have rabies and can transmit rabies, and yeah, I want to do that. Now, the reality, as we all know here on this channel, is that squirrels don't have rabies and they don't transmit rabies. There's never been a case of them transmitting rabies to humans, but still people think that, and someone who's not into squirrels is going to think that. So who in their right mind sets out and says, got nothing going on, what am I going to do? I'm going to go... Raccoons? No, they'll get in the attic. Squirrels. I'm going to go find some squirrels and hang out with them. People don't do that, I don't think. At least I didn't. Squirrels initiated it, not me. And they should. And here's another thing. Because I think people think squirrels are not as imaginative as humans are. But that is another misconception. And that's a stereotype about squirrels. And the reason I know that is because the squirrels started this whole thing. So that tells me they do have imagination. People who used to live here, people who used to hang out at this house, they told me that they would chase the squirrels away because the squirrels were eating the bird food. Well, guess what? Because they wanted to feed birds, they didn't want to feed squirrels. So they stopped hanging out here. Myself and some other certain people started hanging out here. None of us had any intent on blowing money and flushing it down the toilet on food for anybody. Why would you do that? Why would somebody just wake up one day and go, I got money to burn, what the hell, I'll just chuck it out the window? Nobody does that. So instead, the squirrels used their imagination and said, hey, new regime, maybe we can do something with this. Maybe we can work with this here. So next thing you know, they're buddying up, they're being cute, they're coming up to the door wall and putting their little paws on the window. What are we going to do? We're going to sit there and we're going to take pictures. So that's what we did. And I have tons of early pictures of just us going, look at that, look at that, look at that. And, they're captivating. Or maybe we're simple. But whatever, they got us. They had the imagination to put it together that, hey, there's new people here. We can work with this. And they found a way to do it. I think that's brilliant. And I think to minimize that and say that the humans are feeding the squirrels or whatever, like as though that's, who in their right mind just sits and starts chucking food and money out left and right? Somebody with brains has to come up with a way to extract that. Somebody with imagination and brains, and people just can't. I think a lot of people, not everyone here obviously, in fact this audience is probably the wrong people to be talking to, because you all get it, but there are certain people that just can't get past humans have a consciousness and other animals don't. Crap. Anybody who's hung out with other species knows that's crap. So, but humans want to tell themselves that because why? We're special. God made us different. Yeah. And that's why we can't jump, and that's why we can't fly, and that's why we can't climb a tree without ridiculous stuff that we do that actually wrecks the tree. There's animals that can climb a tree without wrecking it. Very cool. Next. Something the human initiates. Well, I think we just went over that. All right. So I think there's a stereotype that, hey, this is going to wreck the squirrel. This is going to screw with their DNA, screw with their instincts. Anybody who's been watching this channel for 5 years can see that does not happen, because squirrels come, squirrels go. They tend to come to me when they need stuff, like, they're ailing at the end. They seek me out. I think it's awesome. Again, that shows like imagination of like, I wish I could help them more than I can, but the fact that they limp here in whatever shape they're in to hope that there's something I can do, these are thinking beings putting things together and having imagination to do so. So, and also, they come, they go. I think there people have a stereotype like, oh, if you feed them, they're going to stick around. Well, anybody who's watched this channel knows, not the case. They come, they go. They leave for 6 months. They leave for a year. I got Joe Lewis leaves. She only hangs around here. She's a fox squirrel, one of the orange ones, She hangs, big orange ones. She hangs around for about 2, maybe 3 months, a year, and is gone the whole rest of it. She's been here, I think it's either 3 or 4 summers, and she only comes for the summer and then she's gone. She leaves all winter. Now other ones, they'll come back for the winter, like L'Oreal. He stays gone. He waits till this year. He came back. He's all fattened himself up out there and he comes back. Rio, she's fattened herself up out there. She has not come back. I thought she would, but she doesn't. She hasn't. She came back for 1 day, but whatever. They run their own game, and humans don't overwrite DNA. We don't have that power, and they have their own instincts. They run their own show, and if they come to me for something, I'll help them if I can, because that's what kind of person I am. And same thing at work, man. If I have a paper I gotta write, you better believe it's going to be 50 pages, because I'm going to say the stuff that I think needs to be said. And if it takes 50 pages, it takes 50 pages. And if it takes 75, I'll take 75, because I'm the kind of person who likes to get it done. I like to get it done. All right. Oh, and then there's just the YouTube stereotype. Oh my gosh, that people think that what they see on YouTube is everything. Like, if I'm the only person that shows up in a YouTube video, well, I must be the only person I know. I must be the only person who lives here. I must be the only person in my life. No. I'm the only person on this channel. It's my channel, by the way. But, well, I shouldn't say that. It started out as it's my channel now. I'll say that. It's my channel now. Don Hollywood 2, actually. He talks about this a lot on his channel. It's the comments people leave. They think that what they see is everything. It is not. Go to Triple Charm. You think they don't have parents? Turns out they have a brother. Okay, I don't know, thousands of videos these girls have made. You don't see their brother, you don't see their mother, you don't see their father, because they're not relevant to the channel. So you can't stress that enough. People don't listen. People don't, I don't know. They think that you exist in a bubble and it's me and the squirrels and there's nothing else. And like I said, okay, so this channel, it isn't even a squirrel channel. It's a little animals channel. I have videos on toads, frogs, squirrels, chipmunks, snakes, when the snake shows up, turkeys, birds. What else have I had? I know I'm missing some species. Rabbits, the groundhogs, tons of animals. And people will just focus on feeding squirrels. Feeding squirrels. People gonna think what they think. But overall, I think that squirrels are thinking people. More than people. Squirrels, humans, myself included, before I met these guys, I didn't think they had thoughts or anything. I just didn't think anything about them. I was into the universe. I was into, studying other planets, solar systems, stars, all that stuff. And then when these guys showed me that there's other life on this planet that's fascinating, I'm like, how am I not going to be interested in that? And then for people to assume that my interest is because I'm unfriended, old, retired, bored, seeking out something to do, those are all stereotypes. I think, and the reality is it takes, I think, someone with a lot of interest and love for nature, love in general. Here's one. Somebody said that just blew my mind, is that people who have relationships with animals, it must be because they never had children. Listen to how weird that is. You're saying that someone who has empathy must have never had children. You gotta hope that person never has children or never had children, because if they think that there is a natural disjointedness between being a mother and having empathy, you must care about animals because you have never had children. I have a heart, therefore I've never had children. That's so weird and scary, and you gotta hope that person never had kids or has kids. Ew. Okay, but ew. It feels good to say that, just ew. That's an ew thought, very ew. Okay, I think I've shared enough. One more thing. Keep on squirreling. Don't let anybody stop you. You just keep on squirreling. And if you think my face is all red from alcohol, that's another stereotype, because it's the space heater.